Hey, welcome back. I'm Ibnul J. Farabi, and this is the Unraveling Thread. So, I was on a video call with my family in Dhaka last week, and my mother, as she often does, was worrying about me flying. "Drive carefully," she said, or better yet, take the train. And it got me thinking about the sheer, staggering scale of modern air travel. Over 100,000 commercial flights crisscross the globe every single day. It's a ballet of logistics so complex it feels like a miracle. But what if I told you that a significant number of those flights, maybe even hundreds a day, are essentially theater? Planes that take off, fly their routes, and land, but with a primary purpose that has almost nothing to do with moving you or me. This is the world of ghost flights, and it's a world that reveals something profound and unsettling about the theater of immigration enforcement. The term ghost flight sounds like something from a conspiracy thriller, but it's a cold, technical reality in aviation. Officially, they're known as empty leg flights or positioning flights. A private jet flies a client from, say, New York to Miami. The jet is based in New York, so now it's sitting in Miami. The company needs it back in New York for its next booking. If they can't find a paying client for the return trip, they fly the plane back empty. A ghost. Just the crew, jet fuel, and emissions. It happens constantly. But this logistical quirk of private aviation is just a microcosm. To see the real spectacle, we have to look at the skies over the southern border of the United States and at the vast, echoing detention centers scattered across the country. Because there, the ghost flights aren't empty of people. They're full of them. For years now, Immigration and Customs Enforcement has been running a massive, secretive air operation. We're talking about a fleet of planes shuttling tens of thousands of detained immigrants, often in the dead of night, between detention facilities. These aren't deportations. These are internal transfers. A person might be picked up in California, flown to a detention center in Louisiana where they know no one, have no legal representation, and then flown again to Alabama a few weeks later. The flights are so frequent, so routine, that if you look at flight tracking data, you can see the patterns emerge like constellations, regular routes between remote airports near detention hubs. These are ghost flights of a different kind, filled with invisible people, moved under cover of darkness, their journeys untraceable to families and lawyers. It's a system designed to disorient, to destabilize, and to break. The physical movement is real, but its purpose is psychological. It's enforcement through dislocation. And this is where the empty centers come in. A few years ago, investigative journalists noticed something bizarre. ICE was reporting soaring detention numbers, claiming they needed more funding, more beds, more space to handle a supposed crisis. But when reporters and activists actually visited many of these facilities, they found them half empty, sometimes nearly vacant. It was a paradox. How can you have a system bursting at the seams, while its physical containers are echoing hollow? The answer is in the ghost flights. The system isn't designed for static detention. It's designed for constant, chaotic motion. By keeping people moving, they create the illusion of overwhelming numbers. A single person transferred 3 times can appear as 3 different beds filled in 3 different facilities in a monthly report. The motion itself is the point. It makes the system look perpetually, desperately full, justifying its own existence and expansion, while making meaningful legal assistance for any single individual almost impossible. How do you build a case? How do you meet with your lawyer if you're here today and gone to a different time zone tomorrow? I think about this from my perspective as an engineer. In engineering, you look for efficiency. You look for the simplest, most elegant solution to a problem. But what we're seeing here is the opposite. This is institutional inefficiency elevated to a purpose. It's a Rube Goldberg machine of human suffering, where the byproduct, the confusion, the despair, the broken families, isn't a bug. It's the feature. The theater isn't just for the public to make us believe in a constant state of emergency. It's for the people caught within it, to make them feel hopeless, to make them give up their claims and consent to their own deportation. It's a performance where the stage is the entire country and the props are human beings. This feels personal to me, not just as an immigrant myself, but as someone who believes in systems that are transparent, accountable, and just. When I came to this country, the process was arduous, yes. It was stacks of paperwork, it was waiting, it was interviews. But it was knowable. There was a thread I could follow, however tangled. What this ghost flight system does is sever that thread entirely. It replaces procedure with performance. It says, your case, your story, your humanity is less important than the stagecraft of our enforcement. That's a profound betrayal of any notion of justice. So what are we left with? We're left with a truth that's harder to unravel than any conspiracy. The most effective forms of control aren't always brute force. Sometimes they're a spectacle. They're the shadow on the radar, the empty bed in the full report, the endless, senseless journey. It's a lesson in how power operates in the 21st century, not just by building walls, but by building labyrinths. Not just by saying no, but by making the question itself impossible to ask. The next time you look up at a contrail in the twilight sky, you might wonder, is that a plane full of people heading for a vacation or a reunion? Or is it a ghost, full of people being erased from one place and deposited in another, their stories lost in the noise of the engines? The unraveling thread this time leads us to a simple, chilling realization. Sometimes, the most powerful thing a system can do is not to hide its actions, but to perform them in plain sight, trusting that the sheer, dizzying scale of the performance will keep us from seeing the individual lives at its core. Thank you for listening. If this conversation resonates with you, please share this episode with one person. It's these discussions that start the real unraveling. I'm Abnul J. Farabi. This has been The Unraveling Thread, produced by Light Knot Studios. You can find more of our work and support independent investigative storytelling at lightknotstudios.com.